poultry farming. As we promised last week, today we will be focusing on layers chicken farming. But before we delve in deeper, here is a sneak preview of last week's show.
Fugo feed is all-inclusive. All-inclusive. In fact, what we do add to our chicken is just the greens. We may cut sukuma wiki or cabbage, we hang for them. Or when we close everywhere, we put for them there, they eat green outside. Because one thing we realize, there are some, we have tested some bitter water. You get a feed that when a chick starts eating, you find the chick getting some funny diseases. Yes, either one, the feed is not digestible. Another one is also a chick start just going round, the neck is bending because the deficiency of the feed. So this thing we never found in the Fugo. The Fugo is really, they have really done a good job.
Today we are in Utawala, Nairobi County to meet Cecilia Wangari Koigu, the owner of the Waco farm.
I started farming back in 1998 because first I had enough space as land and I realized I can utilize it to get an extra coin. And by the time I settled here, we didn't have a lot of facilities. There were no roads, there were no shops, there were no anywhere you could buy anything for the children. And I had very young children. So first I started with broilers for the meat. And I realized the broilers had a lot of challenge because of marketing. Because if the birds extended the time, they could eat a lot and you end up getting no profit. I decided to switch to layers. Because I also do the dairy farming, I found like they can complement each other. And I featured into layers, and it has had a bit of challenges here and there, but it has seen me to be what I am today.
There is an old adage that goes, appreciate humble beginnings. Cecilia has had her fair share of challenges, some being supply of chicks and diseases such as Newcastle. She overcame these and she is the proud owner of over 5,000 birds.
Okay, I started with 2,000 birds, and the main challenge was the supplier of the chicks. I wanted to start with more, but there was no provision for that time. The housing was also a challenge because I had to do the housing. I started with the 2,000, and 2,000, I had a few challenges of the illness because I lost around 400 birds before maturity because I didn't have good experience. But with the consultation with the vets, I was able to understand my problem. They have been with me, they have been working with me, mostly the ones that do the agrovet in Hawaii. That's where I've been consulting. And the people who also sell, the ones who sell the medicines for us, they took us through, although they don't give sufficient information. And when the birds were almost at maturity, they developed some problems. They started becoming weak in the legs. They started weakening, and at least a point I sold them earlier because they could not stand, because I preferred the cages system of maintenance of neatness and also maintaining the cleanliness of the area. So I realized there was a problem. When I consulted, I was told the breed of food I was using was having some challenges with calcium. I was informed for cages you need a good food that maintains the calcium level. And that is what caused the birds to have a problem with their legs, and I sold them very early at a loss. Also, I didn't get maximum of the egg production because they didn't reach the peak. That discouraged me a bit, and I decided now to consult further. I brought another lot, 3,500, and I started another type of, the breed now was different, and the food, the supply of food was also different. I moved with them. They also had several challenges because I lost almost 700 birds. But that was when the I consulted and I invited doctors to come to the farm, to come in and do analysis and exactly advise me what am I doing that I'm going wrong. Because first I lost to 400, then here I've lost 700. So I'm not reaching the maximum of the profits I would want to get. And I was advised. When the food was supplemented to the test, to the lab test, they noticed there was a problem. And that is what caused the death of the birds. I didn't get discouraged. That one I brought them up, they grew to the peak, and I sold them later. I also had a challenge also with Newcastle, because I had not given an injection. I'm told it is a long span. I didn't give because I didn't know. So I also lost a lot of them when they were almost at the peak. And I sold them and some died. It was really a loss to me. However, that did not discourage me, because as I was moving on, the doctors continued, the vets continued encouraging me, enlightening me. And the next lot I decided now I'm going to bring 5,000 birds. And the 5,000 birds I brought, I decided now to move with a doctor herd to herd. So I consulted, I was given somebody from Kenchik to be taking me through. And I also decided now for the feed, I wanted now to maintain one supplier and one feed type. And that lot, I would say, it did wonderful to my farm, because I lost minimal and the egg production was good. And I would say that is where, when I started opening up on layers, and I started appreciating, because there was good profit margin.
Feeds play a vital role in the growth, health and productivity of your birds. Cecilia shares with us how and what she feeds her flock.
Okay, the feeding, as I have informed you, I got some fed from Kenchik. I also got a doctor on call from the supplier of food, and I was given a formula. And I would follow the formula as per the different stages of growth. But sometimes you realize the formula is not working very well, because you'll be told at this stage, give this amount. But you realize you give and then they finish very early. I would call, should I add or should I maintain? And we moved, I would say we moved every stage with the vet. And I consulted. We were always on call. And where need be, they would come and visit and weigh. They weigh and they tell me now, we add or we maintain. So I would say the doctors did a lot on that. And my personnel as well, my workers. Because we maintained the cleanliness, the hygiene level, because that was causing the loss previously. And I think things went on well.
Clean water is also key in the overall welfare of the chicken. Moderating the pH levels of a borehole water promotes its palatability. She shed some light into this.
On the waters, because also we were advised our water, because it's borehole water, the pH was affecting, and we were given something to be moderating the pH. So that one the workers would ensure it is maintained.
Maintaining 5,000 birds is no mean task. An automated drinking system has saved her a lot of money by cutting down on labor costs.
We have a lot of overhead tanks. I realized they are easier, because I don't want to handle a lot of labor force. And one tank can be able to supply all the houses. So actually the supply comes from one source. And if you want to subject the supplement, you put them in that same tank, and it's able to serve all the houses, and the water is flowing. So the workers will not have a lot of time cleaning, distributing. Once they open the taps, the water is self-driven, and it gives them lesser time. And also I need them also to have time to relax.
Most poultry farmers aren't keen on biocontrol and the overall hygiene of the farm. Install measures and clear guidelines regulating entry into your farm. Dear farmer, lack of this could lead to the loss of your entire flock.
The workers were also supplied with I was advised to use the gumboots. The gumboots that we use inside the chicks' house should not be used for any other use. So that one I was advised, and I bought. the clothes they wear, they have to have coats, white coats. I was advised on white coats. They have to be on that. And the person who is handling every house should not do something else. And that is how I managed to get the profit, because I ensured if it is one house, there is somebody manning that. The cleaning, the hygiene level, the feeding, and they were answerable. Every time they were answerable. And if you were at a loss, you would want to know how did we go wrong. So every house, it was managed by different people. And the people who manage the chicken were not doing anything else. It is the cleaning, the feeding, and maintaining that.
Feed challenges include poor quality feeds, underweight chicks, and massive deaths. She shares with us what she went through.
The program I was given, I'm supposed to weigh the chicks as they grow. But I realized the weight I'm told, like if they are 2 weeks, they should be weighing this. They were never reaching that. Then you'd get some are growing so small, there is a death rate was so high. And I suspected either the food doesn't have enough nutrients or something could be wrong. And those are the challenges I was given. Some food would even be, I don't know what word I can use. It was contagious. You get some things, like the bag you get, it is dumpy. Even when you put it on a dry area, by the time it's coming, it's dumpy. And when you give the chicken, they start dying. They start something they call coccidiasis. That's what I was told mostly. And they would lose a lot of chicken. So I decided now I want to change. But before I reached the stage of changing, I had to go through, because the food I moved to was very expensive. But I realized the time I landed on that food, it was not expensive as how people used to talk about it, because I would maximize the profits out of it, and I had little challenges. But before, I would spend cheap food, but I would have a lot of hurdles. The chicken would die, the eggs I would not reach the eggs in good time, the chicken were not maturing in the right time, reaching the peak was also a challenge. But when I migrated to the food I'm using now, I don't have a lot of headache. Actually, sometimes even I forget I'm on layering, because things are just moving. It is self-driven.
From the challenges, Cecilia made a decision to use feeds from Unga Farm Care East Africa. She overcame all her feeding challenges. She shares with us the accrued benefits of using Fugo Chick Mash, Fugo Growers Mash, and Fugo Complete Meal on her 9,000 birds for over 5 years.